subscribe, review, tell a friend. I got a great guest today. You see him on the Wonder Years, the Spirit, Sullivan and Son. The great Dan Lauria is going to be here via Zoom. So, subscribe, review, tell a friend, and enjoy this episode of Razor Riffs with Dan Lauria. Coming up next.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Riffs with your host, Keith Reza.
All right. Well, thanks again so much, Dan, for doing this. I really appreciate it. I've been trying to get you for a while, so I'm very excited to meet you via Zoom.
Oh, no problem. I do a lot of these. I'm surprised to hear you had a problem.
Oh,
I
no.
like it with the young people,
Yeah.
The-
I didn't have a problem. It was just hard to reach, because the Internet Movie Database, the agents, they're not all up to date.
agents of the world. Yeah.
But thank you so much. I wanted to ask you, just like an icebreaker question. Do you feel since COVID, because before COVID, you do interviews like in a studio and like, all that. Now like all the interviews are probably over the Zoom, the internet. Like which
Yeah, I'm not big on the Zoom, but not so much about interviews. For readings, do a lot of readings of new plays, and it's death for the writer to hear it read on Zoom because you can't do any of the timing. People click in and out, they lose pages. And the self auditions, it's the worst. It's so much harder for you young people than it was when I started. Nobody ever asked me for a Zoom or a reel or a disc, or we actually had to learn how to act.
Yeah.
And you went into a room, and I can't tell you how many times, well, you ask any good casting director, how many times you went in, didn't get the job, but a month later they called you back because your audition was, so good, they remembered you, but you were too short, too tall, too heavy, too skinny, too ugly, too handsome, whatever.
Yeah.
But all that is gone with self-tapes.
Yeah.
Everybody looks exactly the same. They even tell you what background there is. And the third reason why it's much harder for you than it was for me is because of all the mass editing. You watch every show on TV, who's ever talking, their face, your face, their face, your face.
Yeah. And
You and
sometimes
I
they haven't even met the person they're acting with.
Well, they're probably there, but the chemistry between two actors is what happens between us. As soon as I cut from your head to my head, we've cut out the chemistry and timing.
Yeah.
So half of acting's listening. I haven't seen anybody listen in years.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Oppenheimer won Best Editing. The longest take with two actors in the same frame is 12 seconds. That's not editing. It's not film. Yeah. Argo, there's one take that's 27 seconds. That's the longest take in the entire film. It's the reason why Ben Affleck didn't get nominated as director, even though it won Best Photo, because there is no direction.
Right.
You just cut on every line. And that kills the talented young people.
Yeah. Now, when you watch stuff like movies or shows now that you're not in, do you notice that? Like how did you know that?
I do a lecture at colleges.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I showed 2 minutes of one of the pieces of crap. I mean, the movies you watch, and I'll say cut, and then I'll put on Cary Grant, Rosalind Russell going around the desk and His Girl Friday, and I say yell cut when it comes. 3 minutes and 40 seconds later, they usually don't yell cut; they usually applaud.
Yeah.
So, and then I get letters from young people saying, I can't watch a movie anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the art of storytelling and acting and directing, it's all in a machine now.
Yeah. No, I know you.
It's our fault. It's our fault. It's our business. But we've dumbed down the audience so much they elected Trump. That's how dumb we've made the audience.
Yeah.
You can go right now, on your phone, Google Playhouse 90 Project Immortality.
You want me to do it right now?
Well, good. You can put if you want. We got time. And you will see Lee J. Cobb, the original Willie Loman,
Oh yeah.
If you press the beginning, you'll see the actors. You'll see Michael Landon before Bonanza, and then my dear friend Patty McCormick, who was 14 then. She's going to be 80. It was made in 1959. You know what it's about?
I have no clue.
AI.
Oh my gosh. The first AI thing.
It's not the first.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh.
When television first started, you should watch some of these things. It was about telling stories and getting people to discuss things.
Yeah.
Both, it's not conservative liberal, that has nothing to do with it. But it was about good writers like Patty Chassie, Rod Serling, Lillian Hellman, Reginald Rose. They all wrote for television, and their goal was to make the audience think. 90% of the shows you have on right now start with a dead body. How did it get there?
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then you get a nut running around saying, oh, the world's so violent. That's all I've seen. How would they know? Nobody's asked them to talk about it.
Yeah. Speaking of violence, I thought I heard a police ambulance car.
Oh,
Is
I'm
that?
in New York, so
Oh.
that wasn't a police car. That was an ambulance.
Oh, okay. I feel like via Zoom they have the same sound, but all right, at least it's an ambulance. Uh, but no, you want to hear a crazy story? Because like, Dan, I gotta be honest with you. I'm probably the worst actor you're ever gonna talk to. But I went on an audition and I totally bombed on it, right? But so like, you know how when you're like, you have that feeling, oh, you're not gonna get that part. You know what I mean? Like you're like, ah. So I knew I wasn't gonna get it, but they called me back and they said they wanted to hire me because I had a big social media following. And
That's right.
I was like,
Now, what
what?
does that have to do with acting?
I know.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's harder for the younger people. You just proved my point. So some good actor,
Yeah.
not only is he not getting hired, he's really not being seen and being in the room to talk with them, where a director could say, well, you know what, he's not right for this, but he or she might be right for something we have coming up.
Yeah. Now I know you also do theater a lot, and I wanted to ask you, like, is the auditioning for the theater process is that kind of like how it is now over Zoom, or do they still?
Right now, theater, there are some Zooms, there's a requirement that they have to have an open audition.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that has become on Zoom. But for the most part, it's live, still live.
Yeah.
You're on stage, you really can't hire anything. The curtain goes up. If you can't carry the freight, you're out of there.
Yeah, yeah. I would think theater would be the one place where they say, okay, we have to still do in-person auditions
Well,
because,
that last audition is definitely going to be in person.
yeah, definitely.
So
So
that's
I
why I
wanted to,
go back to the theater.
oh yeah. What was the last like theater play that you saw that you're not in? Like that you just
Oh,
go
I go every week to the theater. Last week I saw Operation Mincemeat, and before that, what did I see? Oh, I saw a terrible play. Won't talk about that one. Um, but I go every week to, well, I can tell you right now, Wednesdays I go from 6 to 8 to the Actors Studio Playwrights Lab. I'm on the board. Some good people, John Patrick Shanley, uh, Lyle Kessler, who wrote Orphans.
yeah.
And, we hear a new play and we discuss it with the playwright. Most of them are terrible. Every once in a while, some are good. And on Thursday, I go to Bobby Moresco's The Actors Gym. It's really more for writers. Writers bring in pieces and actors will read 10 pages of it, pretty much cold,
Yeah, yeah.
just to hear it. And Bobby will give him. Bobby won the Academy Award for writing Crash, and he was nominated for writing $1 Million Baby.
Oh,
So
nice.
I see a lot of theater. Some of it, 2 weeks ago, it wasn't a full production. It was a reading, but we're going to try to get it produced this fall, called Barkley by Tom Cummings. It was very interesting. The lead is a dog named
Yeah.
Barkley, but it's about dogs who work with children who abuse themselves.
Oh my gosh.
Funny as it was, when the lead kid starts hitting himself, the dog jumps in his arms and go ahead, hit me. That's what I'm here for. And so you went from very high comedy to almost slapstick comedy to very poignant drama, maybe even melodrama, but it
Oh my,
worked very well.
yeah.
So
The last theater play I saw, it was probably 7 or 8 years ago. It was called Homefront, and it was by James Duff,
yeah,
and it was about a Vietnam veteran who
yeah.
yeah, so you know it, you know
Uh-huh.
this. And I thought it was so fantastic. I was like, holy Lord. So
Oh yeah, that's a couple of my friend Brian Dellett. We were in Vetco together. We are all Vietnam vets. He has a new play out. He just read it at Public Studio. I got to call him right after I talk to you. So
ah,
try to move it again.
yeah. Tell him the guy who interviewed you said hi.
Okay. Oh, Luke.
I wanted to ask you, like between, because when you know you've done TV shows like before the Wonder Years, but like this question, I guess, because like now, maybe back in the day when you were on the TV, like there's a difference between, hey, if you're on the TV, you can't do movies, but now it seems like everyone who does TV is doing movies. Like it's kind of, does that question
Oh,
make
yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it's a whole different world, but that's not a recent thing. I mean, I worked with James Garner a few times, great guy.
Uh,
And he did, Maverick long before he became known for the movies.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then he went back to TV, right? Did Rockford Files. And then after Rockford Files, he got Murphy's Romance, which is his only Academy Award nomination, which I thought was unfair because the Americanization of Emily should have been his first one.
yeah.
So we've always had actors. So Steve McQueen was the same way. He did TV, Wanted Dead or Alive. Matter of fact, you can again Google what is it called? Generation Network,
Generation Network.
and you'll see the old Defenders. It was a pilot for it, and who was it? Ralph Bellamy and Reed from the Brady Bunch. They're the lawyers, but the guy they're defending is Steve McQueen. That's his first time in front of a camera.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, you could Google Playhouse 90. Bang the drum slowly. Remember the movie with Robert De Niro and Michael Moriarty? Well, that was a Playhouse 90 long before it was a movie, and in the movie is Paul Newman is the pitcher, and Albert Salmi, a great actor, was the catcher.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
he looked more like a catcher than De Niro ever would.
Now, what do you think about plays that get turned into film for movies or TV? Like, do you think they do mostly a good job following that, or do you think like
Well, the
since
ones the ones that seem most successful are the musicals.
yeah,
The ones they make a musical out of, and I don't know. Just this is just my opinion. When the PC thing is forced into it, for me, it doesn't work. It doesn't help the play. It doesn't help the cause.
yeah,
But when it works, it really is something special. Some like it hot, for example. I went in with a real chip on my shoulder. What are they doing to one of my favorite movies? Well, you know what? The play was better than the movie.
yeah?
And the PC aspect of it actually made it better.
Really? Oh, nice.
Yeah, the Jack Lemmon character enjoys being a woman.
Yeah,
So, okay, you lose the great last line, but it was very good and very entertaining, and it won 7 Tonys, and everybody I know saw it, but it didn't run as long as it should have, and it's not doing well on the road because people are assuming, oh, they're pushing this political thing on me.
right.
But in this case, it actually works. The cause, whether you're liberal or conservative, the cause, whether you agree with it or not, is served, but you are entertained.
Yeah,
So you can't ask for much more than that.
yeah.
We're not very objective about these things anymore.
I've never been objective about any of these things. Like I feel like because I'm the least political person in the world. Like I feel whatever, but I don't understand because I'm a stand-up comic. So I feel like when people change, get too, it's kind of like, yeah, you're kind of ruining the art of comedy. So I could see it could ruin the art of acting or whatever, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, your comics now, you half the jokes that I heard growing up would no longer be allowed.
Oh, for sure.
All the
Yeah,
marriage jokes, you know. I mean,
yeah.
my last play, I had one. I was married for 10 years. Felt like 10 minutes underwater.
Underwater. That,
So that would never fly today. But in the play, the woman goes, "How dare you say that?" But you have to. In the old days, it was just a good laugh.
oh yeah.
And
That's
people forget there were women who did, horrible husband jokes. Phyllis Diller,
oh yeah, yeah. It
right?
would
Her
yeah.
half her comedy was about Fang, her husband.
My favorite joke, this is a stock joke. I don't know whose joke it is, but it's like, oh, my longest relationship is 3 lap dances in a row.
Yeah, there you go. See that you'd be hard to get away with that one now.
Um, so I wanted to ask, I had actually two quick Wonder Year questions, and I wanted to ask because you directed one episode, and I wanted to know like, how come you didn't direct more? Did you just like feel directing wasn't in your
No, I
what?
had it in my I could have done one a year. I actually did two, but my name's on the second one.
Oh,
The first one, the one you saw with my name on it, it's the only Wonder Years episode with a scene shot in one.
yeah.
There's no coverage. They went nuts. They went, how can you can't do that? What if we want to cut it? I said, you shouldn't have wrote it. You know. And then they said, okay, don't do that. And the next year, I was almost done with the episode, and they realized I did two scenes without a cut.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, either you want me to direct or get out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you direct as the final cut, I'll make it fit within the time frame. They don't do that anymore. I don't even think Scorsese has final cut anymore. If he
Yeah.
did, he wouldn't be cutting on every line like he's that thing he did about the Native Americans.
Oh,
Great
the one
story.
that just came out, right?
No, it was while about 2 years ago
2 years
with
ago.
Matt Damon and De Niro
Yeah.
and there's no way if he was left. Matter of fact, when he was on Morning Joe, he showed the one scene where Matt Damon meets the Native American woman. It's the one scene in the movie without a cut. Now
Yeah.
he picks the scenes that are shown,
Oh
and
my
he talked
God.
chemistry with that. And I said, you know what? He's sending a message to us. You're never going to see this again.
That's
You know?
true. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in Argo, there's a scene with Ben Affleck, who I do think is a better actor than I think he knows he is, and Alan Arkin. You
oh yeah.
cannot be a better actor than Alan Arkin. It's actually a very well written scene. They're eating lunch and they're talking about how the obsession of what they do has destroyed their families. It's maybe runs 3 minutes, if that much.
Yeah.
There's 27 cuts in it.
Jesus.
Now, if I was doing a scene with Alan Arkin, I'd say, put the camera over there, go to lunch, come back, you'll find magic.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to cut up Alan Arkin.
Oh no, yeah, you can't.
No,
Uh,
no.
but yeah, that's just so interesting. Would you ever consider directing stuff again if you did it your own
Oh,
way?
I do my lecture at colleges and I tell the directors, if you listen to me, you will be a better director, but
Yeah.
you'll never work again. So don't listen to me.
But I would think I'd want to listen to you because if like you're
No,
old
because they're not
school.
going to let you do that.
Ah,
Everything on television is directly the same, all directed the same way. There's some master shot that's only used for the first line and the last line. Then it's over my shoulder onto you, clean on you, and then a tighter on you. And then they do the same thing on the other side. It's every show. I mean, a monkey can do that. That's why I'm not crazy about doing television.
yeah.
Theater curtain goes up.
Yeah.
You
Ha-
better deliver.
Have you ever had an experience during a play where like um for whatever reason, like maybe you got a hiccup or something during your line, and like because on film you could cut it and redo it, but like on
Oh,
live
yeah, it
theater you
happens.
have to go with it. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
it happens all the time, every
Oh my,
time.
yeah,
I mean, it's I'm pretty good with lines, but it doesn't. And sometimes they're dangerous things. When I did Lombardi, Keith Nobbs, who was playing the lawyer, the reporter, he came walking in, but the part of the set had gone down into the floor, but the floor didn't close.
yeah.
And he was literally 2 steps away. I didn't even yell out the character name. I went, Keith, stop. And then you heard the announcement, ladies and gentlemen, because of a technically, we actually had to stop the show. They fixed it, and then we went picked up right from when Keith. But that happens. I can't think of a show where it doesn't happen. Somebody
I
jumps
like
in
I
there.
like this Keith guy. That's my name.
Yeah, there you go. Keith Knob, good actor, fine actor.
I was in a
But you just
play.
said you could have at least called him Michael by his character name. Don't give me that crap. I didn't fall on. He might have turned around and looked for a Michael.
Uh, I was in a play called The Crucible when I was
Arthur
like,
Miller. Yeah.
yeah, when I was like 21 or 22, and I didn't have a big part. I was just like one of the townies who like arrests the rich. And Dan, I swear to God, this happened. There's an earthquake during our performance, and like the whole theater's like shaking and stuff, and like
Mhm.
it's so awkward, you know what I mean? And I didn't have like any real lines or whatever. So I was like, she's a witch, and it got a huge laugh because it wasn't in the thing. And
Right.
and I remember the director was so pissed at me. And then like the second show I tried to do it again, but it wasn't funny because there's no
No,
earthquake.
there was no earthquake. Yeah, no, you can't try to repeat. That's the worst thing you can do.
Oh yeah, but it was the coolest feeling because like it was in the moment, you know what I mean? It was like But I wanted to ask my second Wonder Year question is have you ever met Daniel Stern? Because I know he was the narrator,
Oh
but
no, but Danny directed about every fourth one.
oh, did he really?
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Danny would be the first one to agree with me about directing, but a lot of times I say, Danny, why are we covering this? He said, because I'll get fired. I'm not stupid like you.
Yeah.
Danny's he's the reason why you don't see him much anymore as an actor is he's a sculptor and he's doing very, very well.
Yeah, I interviewed him and he's one of my favorite comic actors. I think he's the sweetest guy.
Oh,
And
Danny and his son's the state representative in the area where I lived in LA, so I'd like to see him run for Senate.
oh my God. Yeah. Well, I didn't know Daniel directed him, but I was gonna be like because that'd be kind of cool, like the narrator and then you
I
meet
think
him.
I think Danny directed 4 a year.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Because my friend Bob Saget was the narrator on um How I Met Your Mother, and he told me he didn't meet any of those guys. So
Oh yeah. No, they don't have to. It's the best job in the world when you're doing a voiceover thing. You show up once a week after it's done and you just lay it down.
yeah, he was like it was like reading a book.
I would say it's more like robbing a bank, but go ahead.
Uh, um, and then I have a couple stakeout questions for you because I love the stakeout movies, and I
They did really
feel
well. Yeah.
yeah, and I feel you kind of got gypped in the second one because you only had one scene, but you were such a big character in the first one, and I wanted to know like what happened on that.
Well, at time gone by, and my character becomes the chief of police. The guy who got cut out altogether was the chief in the first one.
Yeah.
So I was glad even to get that. I worked with Rosie and Richard and Emilio again, so it was fun. But the first one, Richard Dreyfuss and I would play that game like he would say a line from a movie, you
Yeah.
know definitely. And I go on the waterfront. We go back and forth, and the writer heard us, Jim, and he put that in the script. And then John Badham, great director, he said, Dan, it doesn't. The way the script is written, it's not going to work with you and Richie because you're on different stakeouts. So I'm going to rob it from you. I'm going to put it with Emilio. And I said, yeah, go ahead. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's a funny bit. So the day they were doing that, I was on the set and I went to Emilio and I said, "Say, I think we need a bigger boat." So Emilio laughed. So while they were shooting, Emilio just threw it out there like an ad lib. "I think we need a bigger boat." And Richard, without missing a beat, went, "I don't know that one." And then as soon as they yelled cut, he threw something at me. He goes, "God damn it, Laurie, I knew you don't." And Emilio's going, "Blame him, blame him." So we had a good time on that movie.
Yeah. And
Yeah, and
your
couldn't
partner in the first one was Forrest.
Forrest Whitaker. Yeah,
Yeah.
me and Forrest, we had a great time. That dog got paid more than me. I said, Forrest, this dog's getting paid more than us. And Forrest said, "Yeah, but we can't pee on cue." So,
But no, those were great movies.
very talented man. Forrest plays a number of instruments. He's well read. He's a brilliant guy. I was so glad when he really took off after that movie.
Yeah.
He had already made Good Morning Vietnam, but it hadn't come out yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did Stakeout.
Yeah. When you work with somebody, like, can you like, do you get a feel that like you be like, oh, okay, this guy, he's gonna go places, or this girl's gonna go
Yeah,
places?
every
Like,
once in a while. I mean, I met Tommy Kail and Lin-Manuel Miranda before in the Heights. That's why we're all good friends. That's why I got Lombardi. They wanted a movie star, but Tommy was the director and he didn't forget.
yeah,
And the sweet, but I brought my agent to where they were rehearsing something they were hoping would go somewhere. And I said to my agent, "These are the two most talented people I've ever met." My agent said, "I don't think the Puerto Rican kid sings that well." And the young director looks like Clarabelle with dark hair. It was Tommy Kail and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
oh my
And what
gosh,
working on was In the Heights.
wow.
Yeah.
See, that's the one thing.
Again, two of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah. But like, see, that's one of the things I don't really like really understand or like about Hollywood is where like, you could be the most talented person, but for whatever reason, some people just don't get their shots or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's always been that way, but more and more, the more we go towards the technology, the most talented
Is
will
easing
be the
out.
ones that are screwed.
Uh,
The other ones, it's not going to be the least talented because you can make them. If I'm going to cut on every line, you don't have to know how to listen. You don't have to know how to time everything.
yeah.
So you're gonna, and then with self tapes, you can't go in and, and the casting directors, they all know they're one step from being eliminated. Uh, they'll just announce, send your self tape to an office, and they'll have a couple of assistants go through, and the
Uh,
producer will say, "Okay, can't be over 6 foot, have to have blonde hair, should be slim, blah blah." And then some assistant will just wave through them.
yeah.
They'll come up with 6 that fit that criteria, and the producer will go number 4, and no one has seen anybody act.
Yeah. Do you think that having a cool name might help your chances, like
Couldn't
Stud
hurt.
Muffin or something,
Like chicken soup, couldn't hurt. Yeah.
Uh, I wanted to ask you about Reagan because I watched it and I thought it was very, very good, and I thought you were great in it. And I wanted to ask you because I know that Tip O'Neill was alive, like he passed in '94, so you kind of had an estimate before the internet of how this guy was, but like, did you kind of like use the stuff you saw what he
Yeah,
was doing?
yeah. I mean, when they say, "Oh, you're playing a real person," well, there's the one thing you have to be honest with the people who knew. You got to, like when I played Lombardi, I would always ask the football players who played for him, "What do you want to see that's not in the books?" Because
Yeah,
I can read all the books. I've read them all, and most of them said his sense of humor. So the few people I got to talk to, I knew a lot about Tip O'Neill and Reagan, read Mike Wallace's book, and it it was amazing that they weren't good friends before Reagan was like, it wasn't like they knew each other. They probably ran into each other a few times.
Yeah.
But once they got it, Reagan actually did say to, Tip O'Neill said, I got to warn you, once you're stepping in office, we're going to be at each other every day. We go, that's the way this town works. And Reagan did say, until 6 o'clock. And then Tip O'Neill said, what happens then? He said, then we're two Irishmen having a drink. So
Oh,
actually became good friends.
yeah.
And everybody will tell you more was done for our country over drinks in Reagan's office and Tip O'Neill's office than there was in any legislation that went through. It was like the old LBJ, Everett Dirksen times. They'd call each other every name in a book during the day, and at night they'd open the bottle, pour a shot of rye, and say, all right, let's get something done now. But those days are gone. And I'm as liberal as you can go, but I worked with John McCain twice. You could not have found a nicer man.
Right.
Good man. I didn't agree with a lot of things he did, but a good man. I'm sure Romney is a good man, but all that's gone now. We've been conned, and I blame my business more than any other business because we keep showing dumb things.
Right.
TV. We don't challenge you to think.
Yeah. I mean, I think the TV has kind of ruined stuff because, like, there used to be a time where you go to a library and you'd actually research stuff and read books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Well,
now
you're a comic. Look at what most of the comics are talking about, and go back and look at somebody like Carlin.
yeah,
The wit, the intelligence, and that humor.
yeah,
And
Carlin.
you don't see much of that. Or look at some of the political comics, even the gentle ones like Bob Hope. But there was always a shot in there to make you think about something.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Comedy's really like I'm very worried because like and about my comedy, like I talk about being on the spectrum, and I haven't had a show in like 2 weeks. And Robert Kennedy just like announced how he wants to register all autistic people and all that stuff. And so like I'm trying to think of like jokes that could kind of work, but there's a lot of because I live in Huntington Beach, which is a hardcore Republican area, so I kind of like gotta like
well, yeah, that's the problem you have. You have the oversensitiveness of the liberals and
yeah.
the censorship of the conservatives. So where does that leave you?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like because I don't enjoy political humor, but I feel if you do it, it has to be very smart and crisp. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
And
so.
I would suggest balanced. If you
Yeah.
come up with a right wing dig, then the next one should be a left wing dig.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think that's what some of the nighttime hosts get a little bit of, a guy like Bill Maher seems to be cracking down on the liberals more than conservatives lately, but I understand what he's doing.
Yeah. Um, and then I wanted to ask you real quick about Miranda's Victim, which is probably a movie a lot of people know because of the Miranda rights, but I don't know if it was because of COVID or whatever, but it didn't get a huge release, and I watched it and I loved it.
Excellent movie. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It is really worth seeing. And Diana was such a great director. But I didn't know the Miranda. I always thought it was, somebody who was accused, but it was the killers was the Miranda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I that was a very interesting movie. I enjoyed that.
yeah, and it
I only had
was
one scene, but it was very,
it
I
was
was
a
glad
great.
to be part of it. Yeah.
But that's what my question is like when you do like small scenes in these films, like can you when you read a script, can you tell like okay, this is going to be special, or like do you have that
No,
or
I try not to be judgmental. If somebody says, "Will you be in this movie?" and I don't have to self tape,
yeah.
if they respect my 50 years of work, I'm 99% of the time I say yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, young kid. That's why I do so many of these young little 10-minute movies, 20-minute. Oh, why are you doing that? I said because they asked, and I want to help them get going. Hopefully, they don't remember, but it could be the best part in the world. If you ask me to self tape while you have offers out to people who are not self taping,
Yeah.
I get very insulted with that. And our union did not protect us on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rules should be if you make 30 people with all these years in the business self tape, you got to guarantee that the person who gets it self tape. And if you do give it to someone, like they want to this afternoon, they want me to do a Zoom for a mafia guy. Well, if I get it and they all of a sudden they find out Al Pacino is available and wants to do it, I understand that. I've been around for. I'm not from Iowa. Come on, you got Al Pacino. Fine, great, but send me $100 and say I'm sorry we put all you guys through this. Have
Yeah.
a some form of respect for your work, but our union didn't fight for that. We're only allowed to ask, do you have offers out? And
Oh,
the answer,
really? I didn't
yeah,
even know we could ask.
no, you can ask, do you have offers out? But the answer is always the same. Not yet.
Oh my gosh. Do they have
So,
to be honest with you, or can they say that?
well, what makes you think they're not on it? You think the casting director knows the producer's talking to Al Pacino's people?
Oh, I don't know. I told you, Dan, I'm the worst actor you're ever going to talk to. I don't know this business that well.
Yeah, well, they're not. And then same with the extras. That when you finish shooting, they'll say, "Can we scan you? So in case we have to reshoot, we don't bring you back, but we'll pay you if we use it again." If you say no, you're never getting hired again.
Oh yeah, I've been scanned, and it
Yeah.
was
See, the union says they're allowed to ask you. So
yeah.
you're allowed to say no, which means you're not going to work again.
Oh,
The rules said no, should have been no scanning
yeah.
unless you're willing to pay X amount of dollars with a guarantee that every time you use it, you get a check. They didn't
It,
do that.
it's so scary because I mean this was kind of just a popcorn movie. It wasn't really that great, so I don't recommend watching it. But I saw the new Alien movie, and it was entertaining or whatever. But one of the guys that was in it, he was in the original one. He died like 20 years ago, and they AI'd him to like talk and stuff. And I was like, that is super nuts.
Yeah, it's much worse than that, Keith. There was a great actor, a friend of mine, Ed Herman. If you saw him, you'd know him, but you'd recognize his voice right away. Half the things on the History Channel,
Yeah.
audio books. Well, last year there was a new book out read by Ed Herman. Ed's been dead 8 years.
Oh my God.
And it's his voice. It's not somebody imitating him.
Ugh.
He had done so much that they have it on computers. So they just shove the words into this app and it comes out with Ed Herman saying every word.
Yeah, that's scary. Especially scary for you because you have a great crisp voice. I bet you.
Yeah, but I never had a big agent. So when Dove Books was around, I would get a couple a year, but
Yeah,
some people do really want my buddy Joe Montaigne. He's one of the best. And a great writer like Elmore Leonard said, I only want Joe to read my books. He read the Godfather books.
yeah. I really like Joe. Joe is very I've never met him, but he's a big inspiration to my community because one of his children has autism. So like
Yeah.
he's a big supporter for it.
Oh
So
yeah. 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 No, Joe does more for autism and for the vets.
yeah,
You know, no, Joe is see you don't hear story if this is why I don't like to tell bad stories because there's so many good people I work with and you never hear when I do my lecture, I tell the young kids, our business is like any other business. 15% of the people I work with are total assholes. You
right.
wouldn't want to know. But 85% are good people trying to do the best they can, sometimes with the worst material, and to give the people their money's worth. The only
Yeah,
difference is in my business, we promote the 15%. We don't promote the 85%.
yeah, yeah,
And that's wrong. Like I work with Tom Hanks. All the stories you hear about how nice he is. He's
yeah.
even he's even
Right.
nice. Yeah, he's total gentleman, great artist, just a really good person to be around. Now I didn't get to act with him. He directed two of the things. but he knew I was part of a National Veterans Foundation, and they had made Band of Brothers. And I said, "You think I could pick up a couple of posters? We're having an org." Oh yeah, National Veterans Foundation. Yeah, yeah. Okay, look, when the movie's over, call my assistant at my production office. I said, okay, I will now. He said, oh no, no, we'll have something for you. So I called about a week after we finished, and his secretary said, "Oh yeah, yeah. When can you bring a truck by?" I said, "A truck," and we had to get a van.
Right.
He did so much stuff,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
the when I left, I said, "Please thank Tom." We sent an email and everything, and come back every year. And every year you go there, it's not a van, but there's 4 or 5 items that he signs, usually for something that he's just recently done. And
Oh,
he, yeah,
that's so cool.
glad he did it once, but he's done it every year. But
Oh
he
my. So Dan, you're tight with Tom Hanks.
no, I don't. I worked with him once. And like I said, I did with him. If I was tight with Peter Scolari,
Yeah.
who were they were remained good friends from. But matter of fact, when Peter would come to LA, he would stay at my house. And but I don't really know Tom. I worked with him twice, and he was that nice. See, that's the point. Was I didn't know he didn't owe me anything.
Yeah.
He wanted to do something for the vets.
That's so cool, man. Uh, I wanted to add, I wanted to ask you about your mentors when you were in this business because I heard that they both died on the same day.
Charles Durning and Jack Klugman. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you and I kind of have something in common on that because both of my mentors like died within a few months, not on the same day, but like very close. And I just remember it just devastated me, and I wanted to know like how did you go through because everyone dies, that's the fact, but like how did you like get over that hump because it seemed like you got stabbed twice in a day, you know?
Well, I was with Charles when he died, and I was doing a Christmas story on Broadway.
Yeah,
I left his room and I went to the theater because if I missed the show, he would have come back from the dead and killed me.
right.
And while I was in the dressing room, we used to go to dinner a lot. It would be Dom DeLuise, Peter Falk, Charlie Durning, and Jack Klugman.
Yeah.
So I said I got to call Jack, and as I had the flip phone back then, and just as I was ready to call Jack, my phone rang and it said Jack Klugman. So I didn't say hello. I just said, how did you know? And Jack's wife, Peggy, said, know what, Dan? I said, I was just calling you and Jack tell you that Charles Durning passed away. And I heard her drop the phone on the floor and she picked it up and said, I was calling you to let you know Jack passed away. And it
Oh
was
my God.
Eve.
Yeah.
So, but again, luckily, I had a play. So I had those 2 hours a day where all that's gone.
Yeah.
And I remember I called Paul Lieber, who was in charge of all this Broadway stuff, great guy. And I said, Paul, it hasn't hit the papers yet, but both Charles Durning and Jack Klugman passed.
Yeah.
And I said, is there any way they could dim the lights on Broadway one night for the two of them? And I'll never forget, there was a long pause. And then Paul said, no, we're going to dim them 2 nights in a row, on
Oh
3.
my God.
Yeah. And it was the only time in the history of Broadway that the lights were dimmed 2 nights in a row for actors.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think that that's so cool that those guys, because like even though they're gone, they're still in your heart and their spirit is still around you. So I think like
oh,
that,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So I think like that's because when Norman and Bob Saget died, like I still feel their spirits watching over me. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they'll always have an influence on everything you do. And, you know, they're still helpful. I'm sure when you work on a joke, people don't, they think comics just throw that stuff out. The
No, yeah.
timing got to be exactly, a lot of times you must sit back and say, I don't think Bob would go, he would do this differently. So it gives you something to try. I'm
Right.
always at a line and go, Charlie would have done this and Jack would have, because they worked opposite. Jack and Peter were the two hardest working actors I've ever met. And Charlie was more like me. We were clowns. We just have fun.
Yeah.
In fact, one day Charlie Durning said to Peter Falk, he said, because Peter would drive you crazy.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Oh,
He
everybody.
seemed like he would drive people crazy.
Oh yeah. And is it funnier if I move the phone over here, or should I move it over here? Pete, just move the goddamn phone. And one night, Charlie Durning said, "Pete, if acting was that hard, Dan and I wouldn't do it."
Did you ever see uh Death by Murder? Peter
Yeah.
Falk was in it.
Oh
And
yeah.
oh my God, that was one of the funniest movies. And I don't
Then they
think
tried to do a sequel after it, but it didn't work.
oh really? I don't know about the sequel,
No,
but
I think if you want a Peter Falk comedy to watch, you should watch The In-Laws, the
the
original,
the original In-Laws, yeah.
with him and
But
Alan Arkin. That's comedy.
oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, he was so great. And a lot like people my generation, which is sad, is a lot of people that are like my age, they don't really know great comedies from back in the day. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no, they don't know. And even your generation, you don't know the comedies of the 30s. See, Charles Durning made me watch all of those.
Yeah.
You
I,
know, some things you just wonder why they haven't picked up on it, and use it now, because it's nothing new.
right.
It's
It's all
how,
recycled.
yeah, and it's all how you use it. And I'm working on a new play now where one of the lines is, why would you have to know anything when all information is at your fingertips? Your thumb has replaced your brain, which is now up your ass. And that's pretty much where you guys are.
Yeah. It's very scary for the future on that because that's why I don't like really want to do acting. I just want to stick with comedy because I don't think comedy's ever. I think that comedy's gonna die because you watch everything online. But I think like live experience, like that's what I live for. Kind of like how you do with the plays, live theater and stuff. There's nothing better than a live performance,
Yeah,
I think.
well, the theater, with the cost and everything,
Yeah.
it's really in a terrible place right now. But uh, Fred Molina had a great line. He said, "It may come down to me and Dan Lauria doing a one-act play on the corner of 36th and 7th Avenue, directed by Tony Shalhoub, while Joe Montana and Wendy Malick pass the hat around." Somehow we'll figure, if you got to stand on the street corner and do your comedy, if that's what's, and eventually I won't see it, maybe you'll see it. The idea of just seeing anything live without special effects
Oh
will
yeah.
become so unique that there'll be a resurgence.
No.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, my last question for you is I wanted to ask, are you still, because I know you used to have like a you did stuff for theaters where if people would donate it, you would like, split it with them, and if they didn't hit a certain, you would donate like 1,500 guarantee or something.
Oh no, what I did was when COVID hit and
Right.
the theaters had to either give back the money for subscribers or hold it over for another year, which means you lose a year of money. I got 72 actors, really big name, Brian Cranston, John Lithgow, and Judith Light,
Yeah.
Wendy Malick, Joe Montana, just all my Tony Shalhoub, Alfred. And I asked them to either read something they wrote, read something that inspired them, or tell a theater story. And for $1,500, because you got to pay for editing and that, the theater would get these 72 videos and give their subscribers 6 a month, provided they count that as their subscription for that year. So if you count the money they didn't have to go back and donations that came, we raised about $5 or $6 million, but it was over about 20 different theaters. I guess the one who got the most was Laguna Playhouse. They used it really well, and they made about $500,000. But everybody would ask me, how did you get, Lou Diamond Phillips and Priscilla Lopez to do this? And I said, I asked them.
Yeah.
They
That.
just wanted to do something to help the theaters.
Yeah.
John Lithgow, I met John maybe once or twice for a couple of minutes. I don't know him. He actually called me.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah. And he said, "What's this crazy thing you're doing, Dan?" And he said, I got my start because my father ran a regional theater in Akron, Ohio,
Yeah.
and read about it from his book, and which I had, but I hadn't read it yet. I was, no, John, I'm not faking. I actually have your book. And then we called him back and said, we can't get Laurie Metcalf to do it. So he said, okay, I'll get her. And sure enough, Joe, matter of fact, Joe Montani and I wrote Laurie a threatening letter saying, if you don't do this, we got 5 guys named Nunzi waiting outside, break your feet. So her thing is her reading the letter saying, these guys are blackmailing me, and it's hysterical, you
Yeah.
know. And so we got all those good people because they want to help in the theater. See, those are stories you're not going to hear. I
Yeah.
didn't twist anybody's arm. Eddie O'Neill and I, we go back. We were in New York together when we were both starving, working at restaurants. I called Eddie. He doesn't, he's got more money than God now. He didn't have to do that. He goes, oh, sure, Dan. I mean,
Yeah.
Eddie's a great guy.
And see, that's the thing that I think is a lot of people don't understand is the power of asking, because what's the worst answer you're going to get? No. So I think like that's people are too scared to get that now. So I think like
Yeah,
people,
a lot of that. And, but also, like Henry Winkler said, when Dan calls, I answer because I know he's never going to ask for something for himself, and I never do. It'll always be about somebody. I don't need anybody else's help, you
yeah.
know. But if the vets need help, or theater needs help, or helping Joe raise money for autism, I'll let me know. I'll get you somebody to help you. I'll get you a bigger name than mine, that's for sure.
Well,
So
Dan, if here's my promise. If I ever become a huge star, if you ever need my help, I will 100% help you whenever you want.
okay. Have you ever thought about doing a two-person comedy? When was the last time you saw a team?
Probably like live that I saw a team live. I saw Tommy Chung and what's his Cheech Marin. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw I wasn't too impressed, but
No,
because
but
I
some of those old live routines, Burns and Allen,
yeah,
and Martin and Lewis, you know, uh,
and I
the
kind of
Smothers Brothers.
I kind of want to see Steve Martin Short. I think that would be a good show.
They're not a comedy routine.
Oh no, they are now.
Oh
They
yeah, yeah. Now
yeah,
they're going out. Yeah,
they're
that's right.
going out, and I'd like to see that show. But I also have this thing where like if I'm going to see comedy, I get jealous because I want to do comedy. You know what I mean? So like it's really hard for me to.
Watch the old Smothers Brothers. They were. I think their humor would work so well now.
All right, I will.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for being my best friend for 45 minutes. Where can the folks at home follow and support you at?
Well, I don't do much of that. There's a Facebook page, but I actually don't keep it. A friend of mine does.
Oh,
So I'm followed. I don't know. Look in the papers. I'm always getting called. You're on tonight. I said no. I'm doing a play. So my last play is done well. We just did it in Dublin. We're going to be doing it in L.A. in Big Bear, and then in December we're doing it at New Jersey Rep, and it's about two old comedy writers who have dementia.
oh my God.
So each day we got rave reviews. It's called Just Another Day.
Oh my gosh.
New Stages Press. We're hoping a lot of regional theaters, and you can do it like Love Letter. You can do it actually just sitting on a bench reading it. So, I wrote it for regional theaters to do, but we got rave reviews. So
Yeah, the cool thing about a story like that is that the jokes could stay the same and they wouldn't know it. I mean, that's kind of
yeah,
like
well,
dark and twisted to say.
no, but it's true. It's every day they meet, they write comedy, and they fall in love, and the
Yeah.
next day they start over again.
Oh my gosh.
I just told you the whole play. You don't have to see it, but
I'm gonna see it. I want to see this. Let me know when you're in Big Bear. Big Bear is only a 45-minute drive for me. I'll go support it.
We're going to be there the weekend of the 7th of June.
7th of
So
June.
if you come, let me know. We'll go out and have a beer.
All right. 7th of June.
Yeah. It's
If I
called
don't
Just Another Day.
if I don't have any stand-up shows, I'll be there.
Okay. Maybe we can talk them into letting you do it up there. You're standing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll introduce you to the people there. They're trying to get a theater going there. It's a beautiful theater. It's too big, actually. It's about 400 seats.
All right.
But they're trying to start a professional theater up there.
Oh, what was it called again? Just so I could.
Just Another Day.
Just Another Day. All right.
Now let me do one more thing with you that'll help you. Write this down. 2, the number 2, dash 13 dot TV.
2-13.tv.
Right. It is a network set up for, it's not where you go to rate get money, but after you make something, a 10-minute movie, a 20-minute movie, and you win all kinds of awards, you know, the Duluth Film Festival or something. And a year later, it's sitting in your drawer. You send it to them, and if they like it, they'll actually pay you, not very much for a 10-minute movie, to show it for 1 month on the channel.
Oh, nice.
Enough people hit it, they double the pay for a second month and then a third month. So these young people have good projects.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm always asked to judge at these film festivals, and I tell the kids, first thing I look for is if you're going to cut on every line, don't tell me you're a director.
Right.
I don't care. 2, there better be some kind of story to it. You know, and I really would like to see some cinematography and not just what the phone lets you do.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 criteria, but you'll find things on that channel that are very, very good, and people are getting work out of it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, can I pitch an actor to you who I think you would actually really like? He does stage play and stuff. He's done a couple movies, but I think just by talking to you, you'd like his vibe. His name is Jake Weber. And
is he in LA or New York?
I think he's in South Carolina now, but he is in LA. But he's
got my email. Have him send me a photo, and if he comes to New York, I'll set him up with like Bobby Moresco's class and stuff.
Oh yeah, but I was just saying, like, you would really enjoy his work just by, like, he's really he was in Meet Joe Black and Medium. Like he's done some
so
stuff.
He's doing okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know why. I just thought you'd actually like dig because he's a theater guy too. You know what I mean?
All right. Tell him I'd like to meet him.
All right, Dan. Well, you have my word. 7th of June. If I don't have a stand-up show, I'll be there and I will buy you a beer.
Okay. Well, that's 2 we got then.
All right. Dan, have a fantastic day, and thank you so much for saying yes. And I will talk to you soon.
Anytime, Keith. Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. That was the episode. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza.